This is Clowns on page 45 from Piano Time 2 by David Blackwell. It's marked cheerfully. It's got a da capo al coda, which means you go back to the beginning until you go to the bit that says to coda, and then you go to coda. And coda means end bit. It's marked on the end with a sign. There's not an awful lot to go through with this other than try not to play it too slurred. I mean, there's not a single slur marked in it anyway, but I don't think we have to be too precise about not playing any slurs. It doesn't sound quite right without any, but certainly don't make it too... cheerfulness out of it, and it takes all the life out of it. So what I'm doing is a slur and then a staccato. Now you don't have to do precisely that, but it does need something along those lines. Lots of different things in those first two lines, and just to show you that pretty much anything can work as long as you don't do because that's really boring and sounds too legato and it sounds too pretty, and it's not a pretty song, it's an exciting fun song. The other thing is to watch the dynamics. There's not an awful lot going on apart from the really end bit, except a kind of general sort of crescendo through the first two lines, except in the third line you have got this rather interesting echo thing going on. So do make sure that you get that, even to the point of that third bar with the A flat. Thinking of that as a pianissimo. The fortissimo at the end, we really go for that. And again, at the end, very end, think of that not as a piano but as a pianissimo. And I would play them both staccato, just to give it a bit of extra oomph at the end. So you want as big a difference between this and this as possible. So all the way through again, so things to remember, it's not legato, but you need a couple of slurs in there. So see if you can work out how to make this as lively as possible. Make sure you get the crescendos in there, but don't be too pernickety about worrying, is that mezzo forte, is that forte? No, it's the idea that it just gets louder throughout that second line. Second line. In the third line, you want those two bars to really sound like a really interesting little echo, and the fourth line, desperately a big fortissimo and a very, very, very tiny pianissimo. Also, don't worry too much about the fingering on the left hand because it's not legato anyway, so you don't have to follow that fingering as long as you don't do anything silly and it's very, very sensible.